Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be going through the process that I do every year to get my plastic seed pots cleaned and sanitized from last year and get them ready for next spring. So stick around and we'll get going. So first let's go over the things you're going to need. Of course, the first thing you're going to need is your plastic pots. Yeah, I would say these probably need a good cleaning. Second thing you're going to need is 2 buckets. One for fresh water, and then the other one's going to contain your bleach and water solution, which brings us to the next item you're going to need. And that is your bleach. Okay, so the first thing I do, I take my bucket that's just going to have my plain water. I go ahead and fill that up with water, which I've already done here off camera. And as I said before, this metal bucket is going to be the one you're going to be using your bleach solution in, which is going to sanitize your plastic planters here. I don't fill this one up with water quite yet. If you fill it up with water, and especially if you put bleach in it, you're going to find yourself having to reach down in there to get these in here. So what I like to do is after I rinse these out, I'll go ahead and just stack them in here with no water. Makes it a lot easier once you get enough of these plastic containers in here to go ahead and then fill your water in on top of that and mix your bleach in with that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start here with this first one. This one's pretty full of dirt here. Let me come up here and try and show y'all. If y'all can see the dirt inside of that, that's kind of what we're working with here. So take my dirty container, I'm going to go rinse off in here, get all the loose debris off that I can. Everything that I possibly can. I just use my hands. Again, this is just plain water, there's no bleach in here or anything, so no need to dry it. Get off all the loose debris that you can. Then I place it over here in this container, and again I just keep going down the line, cleaning out each one of any loose dirt debris I have. So to not make y'all suffer me going through each one, I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the point to where I can get this thing full of some rinsed off plastic containers. Okay, so I got all my plastic containers cleaned of all loose debris and just some plain water. And I have them just kind of stacked in here, ready to go for the water and bleach solution. And just for a quick reminder, make sure, not that I don't think it really matters, but just how I do it. I don't like to stack them in there like this. I want that bleach water to coat everything possible, so it's going to take you a couple cycles to get everything sanitized, but I recommend you don't stack anything together in there. And just for y'all are curious, just from this little amount here, as you can see, there's a lot of loose debris in here, so I think it's always beneficial to go ahead and get that loose debris off before you get it into your bleach solution. So let's go ahead and get that bleach mixed up. Okay, so this part, we're going to be mixing our bleach water in this container, which already has our empty, cleaned, well, relatively clean of debris plastic containers, and we're going to be soaking it in a bleach solution. And the main purpose of this is you want to kill any kind of bacteria or fungus or any kind of those spores or anything that might still be on there from last year, because you don't want that to affect your new seedlings that you're going to be putting in there, because that's a big issue. You want to have completely sanitized, not just containers. You want your sanitized seed starting mix. Everything needs to be sanitized, so that's the main reason I do this. So first thing I'm going to do, get my hose in there. I'll start to get that filled with water. You do not need a lot of bleach. And as a recommendation, make sure you're wearing something you might be okay with getting a splash of bleach on, because it is a possibility. Like I said, it does not take a lot of bleach, so please do not use a lot. I might even be using a lot. I usually just fill one of the caps here with bleach, and I pour that in there as it's mixing. And then from there, I'll just let the hose do the rest and fill it up to the top until all those containers are submerged. Okay, I got my containers in here. I got my bleach solution mixed up. Everything's staying down there pretty well. You might have some issues with things floating. If a little bit sticks out, I don't think that's going to hurt anything. But maybe if you wanted to put a piece of untreated wood or something just sitting in here to hold everything down, if you have that problem, that would be fine. This probably gets sanitized pretty quick. I normally let it wait for about 10 minutes before I empty this out. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit on for 10 minutes, but I'll skip forward to the point where we're going to be rinsing these off now. Okay, from this point, I'm not going to need this anymore. I don't want to rinse out the containers in this because this is technically contaminated or dirty from when I was cleaning off all the debris, so I'm going to put that aside. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out each one of these plastic containers. I'm not going to dump the water out quite yet. I'll take a couple of the top ones off here. Okay, so once I get those off, so basically now I'm going to go pour out this bleach solution. I don't want to reach my hand down in there to get the ones further down. So let me go ahead and get that poured out, and then we'll get the rest of them out. Okay, so I got my bleach water solution dumped out. I got all the rest of my containers taken out, and I rinsed this pot out a couple times with some hose water. This is the one I want to use to rinse off because technically it's still it's not contaminated. It has that bleach solution in there, so that's why I like to reuse this bucket to rinse these off. So same as before when I was getting all the debris and everything off, I'll just dip these down in some water, rinse everything off, and then set it aside. And I'll do this process over and over again, not just with this batch, but there's probably 5 or 6 times I have to go through all these to get them all ready for next year. So once I get everything rinsed off, we'll come back here and I'll show you how I dry them. Okay, now that I got them all rinsed off, I'm going to show you all my very cheap, low budget way that I like to dry these. The wind has been pretty rough here the past couple days in Central Texas. Today's not too bad, but these will blow away super easy if you just sit them out to dry. So I have some old fence posts here that's been cut down the middle. What I like to do basically, I just line them up right on here like this. Now this is for the smaller ones. I usually have separate wood I use for the big ones, obviously, because they're taller. And then I set the other piece of wood right on top like that. And just like that, no matter how bad the wind really gets, these don't really blow away. I'll just let them sit like this. Since you probably can't see them how they're sitting right here, so let's get this turned. As you can see, they're just lined up all here, and this piece of wood's just holding them down, and this is the way I kind of get them to dry. I have a couple woods like this, so I can do a couple batches at a time, but just for the sake of this video, I just have this one right here. So I let this sit out and dry, and I let it go as long as I possibly can, probably until the sun goes down this evening. And even if it's still a little wet, I'll leave it out because I store these inside once I sanitize them. I don't leave them outside. My dirty ones are outside. My sanitize will be inside where my seed rack is. So I want these to be completely dry before they go inside. So hopefully that'll be done later today. And yeah, other than that, I consider these now clean and sanitized and ready for any seeds that I'll be starting early next year in 24. So that process is how I clean and sanitize my plastic planting containers for next year. Just a quick recap on what I do. I rinse off any loose debris that's still in the containers. I then put it into a bleach water solution, let that sit for about 10 minutes, take it out, rinse it off, set it out to dry, rinse and repeat the process until you have all of them clean for next spring. Super simple. I feel like I've never had any issues with bacteria or fungus growing the next year, so I think the way I do it works just fine. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, just leave them down there in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.